and welcome back to True Treats. This is week 7. This week we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This week for the Baltimore Ravens, we've got steamed crab and corn on the cob. And for the Jacksonville Jaguars, we're doing some pan-fried frog legs. What we're making this week for the Baltimore Ravens is steamed crab legs and steamed corn on the cob. So we went out, and wouldn't you know it, it's a little bit hard for us to find fresh crab here in Southern Oregon. So we went with the next best thing, and we got some crab sections here just from the local store right down the street. Now if we were cooking with live crabs, we would definitely want to use a little bit more traditional method, using a nice big pot, using some kind of a steamer base at the bottom to keep the crab from actually soaking in the water. We don't want to boil it, we want to steam it. And then we would build our base underneath it, but since we changed the type of crab that we're working with here, we can also change the type of tool that we're going to use, which you'll see in a minute, but we can still keep to the tradition of the method here and build the same kind of steaming base. So we're going to start with our water, we're going to add a little bit of vinegar, we're going to use some Old Bay seasoning, and we're going to use a little Sierra Nevada tumbler, which is an autumn brown ale, perfect for the season. So we'll take all these ingredients, we'll move to our kitchen tool, and we'll get our steamed crab and corn prepared. Alright. So the tool that I was talking about is a little steamer here, which we got for like $20 down from Walmart, which works out great. One of the best kitchen tools because you can just set everything in it and you can put your whole meal on timer, boom, when it rings it's done. So let's build that base here. First we'll take the water, add it right in. Take a little bit of our rice vinegar in here. Sprinkle some of that in there, that'll bring out the flavor of the crab meat. Take our beer pour, probably about half of it in here since we're using the steamer. Regular pot, I would probably just add the whole thing. And then we're going to sprinkle in some of our Old Bay seasoning to just really help spice up that crab meat and give a little flavor to our corn as well since we're putting it all together. Boom. Now let's head over there, grab our ingredients, and we'll get it started. Alright, so we got our crab legs here. We got our corn on the cob. First thing we need to do though, get our lemon ready because we're going to cook with a little bit of lemon also, which really again just helps add a little acidity to the meal and will bring out the flavor of that crab meat as well. One thing we want to do is leave a few wedges on the side for later so we can squeeze in case somebody wants to add a little bit. For the deal here though, we're just going to slice them into just little rounds there, finishing off the other half of the lemon, and we'll just add that right in. So take our lemon, our corn, and we're back over to the steamer. Alright, so we're back over to the steamer here. Got that set up. First thing we'll do, put it in our drip pan, catch all that good stuff. Put in our main base here. Set in crab number 1. Number 2, make sure it's all in there. Throw in some lemon slices. Take our corn, set it right next to it, right on top. Lid. And we're going to go about 15 minutes. Let it sit. When the bell rings, it's all done. Alright, while we've got our crab legs and our corn steaming over there on the other side, we'll get our frog legs ready. First thing we want to do is just take some milk here, put it in a bowl so we can soak the frog legs in it. And we'll just kind of make it a little bit more tender there. So the frog legs are going to be a lot more, just kind of falling off the bones right there at the end. We got some frog legs. Never had frog legs before. It should be pretty fun. I've heard they're a lot of fun to cook in a pan. And actually quite easy to get. They had them right down at Food for Less, right down the store there. We're making these frog legs today for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're taking on our Baltimore Ravens as we've got steamed crab and corn on the cob. While that's soaking, we're going to build our dredging flour over here, which is just pretty simple. Some regular all-purpose flour. Going to put in a good amount of black pepper. And we'll add in a little bit of salt. Take that. We'll just mix it all around here on the plate. Pull our frog legs out of the milk, which will also help the flour stick so we get a nice little breading on the outside of our frog legs. Toss them around all nicely there. Making sure we get it all nice and covered. You can see that nicely there. Put those on the side. We'll take them over, throw them in the pan, and we're ready to cook them. Now that our frog legs are prepared, we'll put some olive oil and just a little bit of butter into our pan. We'll heat it up till it's nice and bubbling, which means it's ready to drop our frog legs in. And once our frog legs are in the pan, cooking and browning on one side, we'll prepare the topping that's going to go with it. The first thing we need to do is slice up some fresh basil. Then we'll take our 3 Roma tomatoes that we have and we'll slice those up as well and get them prepared to go in the pan after we pull out our frog legs. You should have just enough time to prepare your Roma tomatoes and your fresh basil while your frog legs are cooking on one side. I used a spatula to flip them over because a pair of tongs might break them apart, because when you cook frog legs they get very tender and can crumble easily. One quick flip and a swirl of the pan and we're cooking the other side. The frog legs are all finished, so we'll pull them out of the pan. We'll set them on a paper towel to absorb any of the extra grease. Then we'll take our white wine that we have sitting there and we'll pour it into our pan to deglaze it, which essentially is just removing all of the flavor that might be stuck to that pan and sucking it up into our sauce. Once we pour that white wine in there, we're going to add our chopped up Roma tomatoes and our sliced up basil from earlier. We'll let them simmer and stew on the stove for just a few minutes while our crab and corn is finishing up in the steamer, and then we'll have a nice topping to go alongside the frog legs. Alright, so the timer tells us that our crab legs and our corn on the cob is almost done there, so we're ready to pull them out. Oh, you can smell that Old Bay and the beer coming right out of there in that steam. It's delicious. Makes me ready to eat. Pull out both those corn. Save that lemon right on top of the crab there. Perfect. Let's head back over and plate it up with our frog legs. Our tomatoes are all done stewing, our crab and our corn is done steaming, and our frog legs are fried. So we're just going to take some of these tomatoes, put them in a little dish here. We've got our basil cooking down with that white wine and a little bit of the butter and olive oil that we had in the pan. Scoop up a nice side of those, turn that on low. We'll put it next to our lemon wedges we cut earlier. The butter that we have there for dipping the crab legs. A little fried frog leg. Oh, with some big old hunk of crab leg right there. And a nice piece of corn on the cob. And we're ready for the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you for week 8.
If you enjoyed this video, let us know. Leave us a comment, send in a video response, tell us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, what you thought. Give us some stories about your adventures eating crab. Always remember you can subscribe right up above so you can get our videos in your inbox and get those updates for when we release news content. And always check out the links down below for more information that we just could not fit into this video. Thank you for joining us, and remember, keep on cooking.